Ta-da! Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. Still no haircut. Can you believe it? But listen, it's a little bit more kind of gelled back. It did look so pretty earlier today. When I was preparing for court and going to court, it looks good, but I've now kind of laid back on it and it's kind of all jacked around. This week, I do feel it. I do feel it coming. This week is probably haircut week. We don't know. We will not know until the day comes, but I feel like we are getting closer. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this 175th episode of the Political Spotlight. I am one of your hosts, Christopher H. Bilbrey. Glad to be here with you. Thank you all for tuning in. Producer Kate is down in the duck as usual. She's still coming to us live 3 hours behind on the West Coast. So doing her thing, doing grandma duty. It's just sounds so weird. I just have such a hard time calling her grandma, but it is, I guess
the day you call me grandma is the day that I will come over and I will beat you to death with a spoon.
See, I just don't like it. I don't like it. We need to, and the thing that her people want her to be called Oma. Like, I get it and I understand it, but to me, honestly, that sounds like she's not nearly big enough and round enough and still old enough, really, to be called that. So, like, I think we're gonna have to come up with a young, hip, grandma-esque type name for Producer Kate. Producer Kate works for me all fine. So, we'll just, we'll stick with that, I guess. But I proudly wear my Grammy badge. Yeah, like, look, it's nothing wrong with it. I guess I just kind of had I heard Niles called her hot. Hey, yeah, that's a very good possibility. What there used to be that thing. It was called Hot Grandma. Well, I guess that's another show. All right. Hey, I hope you guys are doing well. I have had a busy day today. I have been traveling and been doing a whole bunch of stuff. We have a big show planned for you guys. We have a lot to cover, and we have a lot of politics to get into. We've got some kind of cool things that we're going to be talking about. I had to deal with my subordinate today. Obviously, as we all know, I am the chief lead, most high administrative sheriff of Henry County, and I take that title and that job's very serious, as most of you can tell. And I had to deal with my subordinate today, the elected sheriff of Henry County, and it just was not fun. I need prayers, on days like that from most of you. When I have to deal with the sheriff, it's not a good thing. It's just never a good day when dealing with Sproles, no matter what the situation is. Even when I am in charge, even when I have the upper hand, even when he is being taken to task, I would just prefer, honestly, not to deal with him. So it is what it is. We will talk about that. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to talk a little bit about there was this minor thing that's happened in the last couple of days. I don't know if a lot of you've heard of it. It's called the Solar Eclipse. Yeah. I know most of you didn't experience it the way that I did. I was so cool. You guys didn't experience the same thing. You couldn't have seen the same cool things that I saw. And most of you probably don't even know what I'm talking about. But we have to talk about that a little bit And so we'll talk about that a little bit. And we're also going to be looking at a very interesting article in a new journalistic endeavor that has been popping back up locally. And so we're going to talk about an article in there that I found to be very interesting. It's kind of a refreshing look. We don't see a lot of journalism in these parts. I myself am not a journalist. I comment on the journalism. I comment on the politics, the things that's supposed to be the news. And so when we find a new journalistic venture popping up in the area, I'm like, ooh, that's cool. So we'll be talking about that. This episode is the 175th episode. I'm calling it Post-Mortem. And we'll get into that. I'll tell you why on all of that here in just a moment. But before we get there, I do have to remind you all, if you're watching from YouTube, please do the YouTube thing and smash that like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed to the channel. It's free, absolutely free. But we've been doing really well with the like button smashes. So please smash that like button. Subscribe. Once you subscribe, you can hit the bell. That way you can get notified when we go live, when we drop shorts, when we drop static videos, all of that. Obviously, if you're watching live, we want you to comment in the live chat box over on the right-hand side. If you're watching on repeat, please comment down below. And above all else, share the show with everyone you know. It's very, very important. That helps us out. And we do want to give a very special shout out all the way across the pond to Sir Lenny Cottingham from Scotland. He became a YouTube member. Yay! And you too can become a member and help us out. You can do it for as little as like £2 or $2 a month. It does help us out. Yada yada yada. Very cool, very cool. But just being here and talking with us and sharing the show is all we need. But we love the extra love. Thank you, Lenny, for that. And thank you all for being here. I saw the comments about the mushrooms. That's cool. That would be the only other way that thing could have been more cool, is to have been maybe on a little bit of a psychological and spiritual journey, not only into space but into the mind. That could have been interesting, but I also think it might have been a little much, because it was definitely interesting. So let me see here. I need to look and make sure. Newsflash. Whoa. Newsflash, everyone. Rick Yenser has been released. Saw him downtown during the eclipse. Holy crap. Oh, I think you just texted me before the show. I was getting ready. I didn't get to see all of that. And I saw someone said I ran into Yenser. How's he doing? I hope he's doing well. That's interesting. I'll have to try to reach out to him and see how things are going on. That's interesting. I hope all is well with him, and I hope that he's getting on. Before we get diving into this, I need to make one adjustment here. How are we doing with sound? If we're doing well, if everybody could put in, Kate's giving us the thumbs up. If we're doing good, if you could put a 1 in the chat box, that would be fantastic. Did Rick have a beer in his hand? Jesus. He looked rough, but who wouldn't? Yeah. His hair was probably just a little bit shorter than mine. I think the last time I saw him, his hair was pretty outrageous. All right. Thank you for the ones. Thank you. Hey, Jeff, sorry I got your message. This was an event today. I'm sorry I didn't get back to you. I knew we would be on the show and I would be able to answer all questions. I apologize for that. Give me 1 second and I need to hearing myself. I need to make an adjustment here. 1 second. Give me just 1 moment. Sorry. Okay, there we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, getting into today's this episode, this is a big episode. I'm calling this episode Post-Mortem. And for those of you that may not know what that is, another word for post-mortem is an autopsy. And a lot of times people are like, wait, what is this? This is now a crime show? No, it's not a crime show. It's like a political post-mortem. It's like a review. We're going to do an examination, a deep dive into a couple of different areas. It is Tuesday evening on the night that we are recording this. So if you're watching live, welcome to Tuesday evening. If you're watching and or listening at your time and place, wherever you are, thank you for listening and watching wherever you are. And it's not Tuesday unless it is another Tuesday. And then welcome to Tuesday. I hope everybody's had a fantastic day. Sorry about being gone yesterday. As everyone knows, we had court today, and I had some prep I needed to do, and yesterday was a big day anyways, so we just took the night off last night. And, of course, last night also, everybody made me aware that something else was happening. There was apparently some kind of a sporting event going on last night, and everybody that's not Jessica Piper, I will fill you in. Purdue was playing in that game. Catherine's coming on to teach us cutting up frogs. Yes, everybody grab your frog. I sent it to you in your mailbox last week. It was frozen when I sent it, but it might be unfrozen now. So go out and check. But no, Catherine's actually, I think Catherine is coming on Thursday night this week. We're going to have Catherine on, so she'll be on to help us with the cutting up frogs then. Yes, it was the curling finals. And curler Purdue Pete was there with his big head and big train, or whatever he has. I don't know. But I don't know anything about that. I don't know who won. All I know is Purdue came up short. And I know that the big controversy is this. What was that? Go back to that. I didn't see that. Let's see this. Oh. The pancreas is the pancreas. Oh no, it's not the pancreas. It's the fatty bodies, which is the weirdest part of that. I did not like that. The fatty bodies. That was freaky. But I did have fun cutting up my frog. So much fun that I came home and cut up 3 more. We won't talk about that. And then a cat and no, all right, never mind. Okay, Sproles will be taking that for serious. Purdue Pete has a huge head. Hey, so do some of the political folks that we're going to be talking about today. You should have seen Sproles' head right before we broke off and went into our separate rooms. His head was just about as big. he needed 2 sticks to hold it up, and it was purple too, so very strange. Okay, so getting into the show, we are going to be taking a live look at the political world around us, with so much going on, and with it being hard to decide what's right or wrong or up or down. It's a good thing that you can count on those of us here at the Political Spotlight to help light your path. And the fact that you guys have the purveyor of political wisdom and the connoisseur of common sense, I think you'll be okay. This episode is going to be an important look backwards, an examination, if you will, of events or actions over the last few days and weeks, looking at a couple different important events or things that have been going on. This will be an interesting and fun episode, as well as educational. Wow, who knew you could do that? So the big 2024 solar eclipse hubbub is over. And I want to thank Charlize for posting yesterday all over out and about in Muncie, letting me know that there were actually some travelers who did make it to Muncie from different areas. I was happy to see her post. And who says social media is always a dumpster fire? It isn't. Sometimes it is helpful, because I honestly did not get out and about yesterday. I was having fun doing what I was doing, and I did not get out and about. So I'm glad that I was able to look back and see kind of what was going on. But the big hubbub is over. And I've got to say, it was truly amazing. But it's over now. And we're going to talk about what went right, what went wrong, and what did we learn from this event? What are the takeaways? And then after that, we're going to be talking for the people from Henry County about the first actual day in federal court. Yay! We had our day in court today. I don't think it was the day that the sheriff wanted. Maybe it was. We'll get into that here in a moment. But I actually faced off against his royal anus, the Duke of Ego, Sheriff John M. Sproles of Henry County, Indiana. And so it's going to be interesting. We're going to talk about that ordeal, however monotonous it was. We're going to be talking about that. What did I learn from it? Maybe we'll try to determine what he learned from it. And what does the future hold for our case? Is there still a case? Is it over? Did we settle? Did we not? You'll have to wait and see. And then lastly, we're going to review a recent interesting article from a new journalistic endeavor. It's been around a while. It's called the Muncie Post-Democrat, and it's actually a throwback. It's like a new iteration, mind you, of the Muncie Post-Democrat, which was a newspaper from the 20s and 30s in Muncie. This is a stripped down online blog style version of that original newspaper / periodical. It was originally published in Muncie in 1920, from 1920 through 1936. The editor of that newspaper at the time was none other than Muncie's 18th mayor, George R. Dale. He was a Democrat. And he, like I said, happened to be Muncie's 18th mayor. He was the mayor from 1930 to 1935, and he has a very colorful history. So we're going to be talking about that. Here's Mr. Dale. He was a an interesting looking fellow. I feel like everybody looked like that back then. Like that's just exactly how every person from Muncie looked in 1930. Very, very interesting. So we're going to be talking about this new article from his paper. And what's interesting is the great great grandchild of that man right there is the editor and the owner of this new iteration. So it's really cool. And now listen, I'm going to be just right up front and honest. Listen, it's called the Muncie. What's the name of it? It's called the Muncie Post-Democrat. Back in the day, from 1920 to 1936, it was billed as Muncie's first and only Democratic-leaning newspaper. And I get the feeling, knowing who's involved, that it hasn't changed. I don't feel like this is going to be writings from the conservative mind. No, rather, it's still a left-leaning, liberal, if you will, paper. But very well done. And I have no complaints with it to date. I'm sure there's things in there that's been written. There's been articles. I don't follow it all the time, but I read an article in there. I've liked a lot of what I've read from it. And what I've noticed is in a lot of the coverage of local government, there's a lot of just right down the center facts. So I appreciate that. Who am I to say someone cannot have an opinion? By far, I'm not going to do that, but I like that, you know where the paper comes from. It is what it is. But the article's very interesting, and I appreciate the writing, and we're going to look at that. So before we get into that, I just want to cover the solar eclipse ordeal. Yesterday, it was very cool. Here's a picture of both going into the partial eclipse from the beginning into totality, which is there in the center, and then the totality lasted for here just shy of 4 minutes, and then going out of totality. Just an amazing picture here. Here's a picture of the moon attempting to cover up the sun, and this was as it was going in. So this was at the before totality. Just amazing. It's amazing here on this picture here how you can actually see the landscape of the moon. It's so amazing just to see what this is, and then to see over on the right hand side like some of the streaks in the sun, and to see like the sunspots. This is just so amazing. Witnessing this event yesterday was truly mind-boggling. Here you're starting to see just a little bit of what will be going into Bailey's beads. What?
I missed it, and I'm so excited I get to see pictures of it.
Oh, yeah.
This is super cool, the Bailey's beads, and then going into the diamond ring. And
yeah, I need to say, because I know that was one thing that everybody was saying yesterday, like, oh, yay, bring on the onslaught of everybody's bizarre pictures that don't really show anything. But I took some great pictures of stuff. I'll have to send you. I will send you. I got some good footage and pictures of it. Okay.
That's awesome.
This is just magnificent. This picture here, this is amazing. I was actually listening to Hammer and Nigel today on 93.1 when I was coming. Was I going to court? Well, I don't know where I was going. I was coming and going. I don't know. but I was coming back, and they were talking about not knowing what the diamond ring was. And I was like, what? And I sent them a picture on Twitter, and I was like, here's the diamond ring, dude. It looks like a diamond engagement ring. As you've got the little band around, and it is so magnificent, man. And when I witnessed this, like, I almost feel bad talking about it because Kate wasn't able to see it. And I almost feel bad talking about how great.
I saw the one in 2017 talk.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. This is just so amazing. Now, I looked at this just a little bit past this point still. When they're at this point, you're supposed to be putting your glasses back on. This is when totality was leaving. So this is the end of totality. And at this point, the glasses are supposed to be coming back on. And I left my glasses off just for a second longer. And I was like, oh no. And yeah, it was really, really cool. What was awesome is in this picture, you can't really see it. But there was I've got another picture where down at the bottom, so the diamond ring, if that's like a little bit between Pete slacks. Let's go back. Where's that at? Charlize. Let me see if I can pull it up. Where would that be at? Check out Chicago. Pete Sack. I put Slack. Let me hold on. I'm off the page just real quick. If she says anything.
Check the chat.
Okay. Wait, the private chat?
Yes, the private chat.
I got it right here. Yeah. I was like, wait a minute. What are we
It's
talking
an
about?
article. I don't know if there's a video or not, but
I didn't know you could actually send articles in that thing. That's amazing. Oh yeah, right here it is. We've got it right here. This is here we go. I know everyone's like, I'm tired of hearing about this. Dude, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. Here, we're going to share this right here, right now. Hey, Kate, Kate's gone. Kate dropped out real quick. Oh, there she is. Hey, Kate, can you pull that picture down? I'm trying to share this thing over to it. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Thank you.
It's just super exciting. It's so amazing to see science in action like this.
I wish I could describe the moment that Pete realized it was starting. He had us all look at the camera, and then he went to the crowd and said, "It's starting. Put your glasses on." And everyone started putting their glasses on.
This is, well, we've been waiting a long time to see this, and even just to get the glimpse right now is truly an amazing sight. And so it just is. I love the.
That's not it. Hold on, let me see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is what we came here for.
We're moving at the speed of the moon here. Let's go right to Pete
Oh my
Sack,
gosh,
the
we're almost
totality in
there.
Indianapolis.
We're
Go
almost
ahead.
there. There it is. It's totality. This is just amazing.
Come on, buffering.
I can't believe I'm able to believe it. It's totality. This is just amazing. I can't believe I'm able to bring this to you. I'm taking my glasses off for a moment because you can actually look up and see. We're seeing kind of a diamond effect, but we can see the halo. We can see the corona around the sun. The stars are starting to come out. This is just an amazing sight. just watch for a moment while I gather myself, because I'm just in awe of the sight that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah. This is very much what it was like.
I'm not quite sure why people get so emotional about it. I just think it's cool.
Yeah. Listen, I gotta be honest. I got emotional about it. I think I'm an emotional person, but I mean, it just blows. I mean, I don't know. It's just like
basically the corona.
I don't know. I feel it's like, to me, someone who's not going to be in space ever in my life. Like, basically what the thing is it's like what you hear from meteorologists, or not meteorologists. I was looking at the screen. It's what you hear from astronauts who say that they look at from outer space. They look down and see like the Earth, and they just see how small everything is. It's kind of that feeling. Like, to me, it gave me that feeling. Like, just seeing that was just total in awe of just like, God, this is amazing.
The nerd part of me is more interested in where's the Bailey's beads, where's the diamond ring, where are the shadows? Let me find the tree shadows. I'm about the little things that I want to be able to see, because I know what's going to happen. So that's what I was looking for last time. So it doesn't make me emotional or like want to cry or anything like that. I'm just like, let's do this. We have 4 minutes and we're going to see all of it.
Right. And that's the thing is, it was like,
maybe it's the mom and me.
I was with grandma. And so I was like, all right, this is what we're going to look for. You got to look for the Bailey's beads. You got to look for the diamond. Look at the house. I want to see it, And so it was very much like I was doing that thing too. And what I noticed was that what was really interesting to me was that I always tell people, like, I'm really good at judging like small amounts of time, specifically from recording the audio podcast, because I would know, I would see the time running as I'm recording, and I would know, like, I know like how many words I can get in 3 minutes. I know what a 3-minute chunk of time talking is. And so I kept hearing like, it's going to be like, 3 minutes and whatever seconds. And I kept thinking, man, it's going to fly by like this. But when we were literally watching it, it felt like a long time. I'm so happy that it felt like it was longer while I was in the moment. Now, as soon as it was over, I was like, damn, that was over too quick. But while we were in it, like, it was like, I loved how long the experience felt. So that was awesome. And I can definitely understand the people that chase these things. Elon Musk put up, I know that a lot of people don't like Elon Musk and yada, yada, yada. I'm still, jury's still out here. I don't know if he's trying to take the world over yet or what the deal is, but he did post a very awesome picture of the shadow of the moon on the Earth. And this is the last thing I'm going to show, and then we're going to get into the politics of it, of everything. But this is, let me get this pulled up here, because this, I had everything else prepared. I did not have this, and I don't know. Okay, here we go. Elon. Man, you can't just go to Twitter and just type in. Okay, there we go. I was gonna be like, you can't literally type in Elon and it be the first person that pops up. Are you for real? Okay, so we've got Elon Musk pulled up. We're gonna go here, click on that. We click there, and now I want to show you this post that he had. What's happening here? Dude, I cannot believe how much he posts. That's insane. Okay, here we go. Yeah. View of the eclipse from orbit. Okay. All right, here you guys see it from here. Now I want you guys to tell me. Here we go. Look at that's wild.
Well, it's a big freaking shadow, man.
Yeah, it just looks, that's just so strange looking.
Too bad it wasn't a black hole that only ate politicians as it was moving across.
And this thing, whatever this is, sucked into it. I don't know what exactly this is. It's weird because it looks like we're looking upside down, but that's a really weird. I would like to know where on the Earth that is the moment. Like right here. Like what is it over? It looks like just ocean, or is there land there? I can't tell. I can't tell what that is. Maybe it looks like
again.
That. Okay, here we go. Let me play it from start.
Yeah.
Here's start. Maybe is this the northeast part of the United States?
Yeah, I think so. I think
and
that's
like
the Bay of California right there. So I think we're looking at like shit. Illinois, Indiana. What's the next one over? Missouri, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. That's all right. That's interesting. That's a weird. It's weird, like looking at it upside down.
I feel like an idiot. But
right. Looking at the globe from space upside down. In space, nothing is upside down. So wild. Well, that's interesting. So, okay. Enough of that. I guess let's just talk about Prairie Creek. It's Prairie Creek. That black hole's Prairie Creek. Maybe it was a black hole that ate all of the people that were coming to Indiana. It looks like he took that picture when it was overlooking Indiana because you could see those clouds. Alva, that's hilarious, buddy. All right, so here's the deal. What did we learn from this? Well, we learned that the government does what the government always does. They overhype things. They overhype things. And they do so not in a negative way. Not all people. I want to say excuse me. Let me back that up. Not everyone is doing it in a negative way for a negative reason. I do want to offer shout outs to Michelle Owen, to Cheryl Crowder, and I'm sure that every community have individuals like that who really worked their tails off to try to do the very best thing. Let me tell you a situation in Muncie that was brought to my attention yesterday or the day before. And that was that Miss Michelle Owen has been working hard to make this an amazing event. And she had scheduled for various food trucks and people to go to Prairie Creek. And what they needed to do to set up was they needed to call out to Prairie Creek, and the administration, her and the mayor and everybody had said, like, oh yeah, have them call Dustin Clark. Dustin Clark, we've talked a lot on here. He is the Prairie Creek superintendent. He's also the mayor's very secret squirrel right-hand man. I don't know exactly what he does for Mayor Ridenour. But he did what he was doing that thing. And basically what happened was Michelle had been told, have these people call Dustin Clark out at Prairie Creek. Well, when they were calling out at Prairie Creek, Dustin wasn't there. So they talked to somebody else, like the receptionist or whatever. And when these people were calling them, they were saying, we don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. And so, like, they had, like, no clue. So it was very, very, very strange. And I don't know. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's happening?
We're watching Disney movies, and it's the end credits, so we're having a dance party. The girls are dancing in the living room, and I'm dancing in the kitchen.
The world? I thought you were really excited about Dustin.
No, I don't give a shit about Dustin.
All right. So, no, I was like, what? So basically, Michelle had worked really hard and told all of these various people to call out to Prairie Creek to talk to Dustin. And when they called, they talked to someone there that was working as a secretary. And they were like, oh, we don't know what you're talking about. And so there were people at City Hall scrambling because the people that needed to get the confirmations didn't get that. And it's just like, what? How in the world can there be someone that works in the city parks department for Prairie Creek? The city has literally been pushing this thing for a year and a half. And when you get someone that says, hey, we're going to come out for the big celebration, the Muncie Magic City Eclipse thing, and you call someone within the administration and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. Okay, bye. That is nuts to me that someone would do something like that. So it just goes to show how very seldomly do anybody in government know what the other is doing. The left hand doesn't know what the right hand's doing. And when you talk about people at the state government like Holcomb and a lot of people in the commissioner's office when they're like declaring states of emergency and whatnot, that, ladies and gentlemen, was all an attempt for a money grab. So the thing is, when they start putting out these alerts telling people to run to the grocery store, buy food, buy toilet paper, go stock up on gas, make sure your phone's charged up. When people hear this during Christmas and during a cool thing like the solar eclipse, and they hear the government freaking them out, and everyone's like, well, I don't understand why people are being conspiracy theorists. The government is trying to turn us all into conspiracy theorists. They're telling us that all sorts of crazy things are going to happen. And when you get this happening, what happens is it creates the little boy who cried wolf syndrome. When the government is saying, oh, you better do. Now, listen, pause. It's a good idea for every single person listening to this to have a plan, to be prepared, to have non-perishables stocked up. You should have, they say, at least 2 weeks, a month, 3 months. What you can afford, you should have non-perishables, water, potable water, a generator if you can so have it, some guns and ammunition if you're so inclined, medical supplies. Listen, that's just the day and age we are in. Winchester just saw the other day a tornado can hit, and there were people without power and without connection for a long period of time. Earthquakes can happen, tornadoes can happen, hurricanes can happen. That is where we are at. You should be, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, there was a TV show on like Spike TV called Preppers, and everybody made fun of those people. Nobody's making fun of the preppers anymore. No one is doing that. Everybody's like, oh, yeah, okay. I heard a radio host the other day say, like, literally everybody's prepping. It's not just the white people in Tennessee anymore. It's the people in New York. It's the people in LA. It's the people in Florida. It's the people in Chicago. It's the people in Colorado. It's the people in Texas. It's men, it's women, it's white, it's black, it's Hispanic, it's straight, it's gay. I mean, it's just common sense. We should all be prepared. But when the government is telling us, oh, we're going to have a big celebration, and because of this big celebration, you're not going to be able to get fuel. You're not going to be able to get food. You're not going to be able to get to the store. People are like,
and apparently the interwebs are going to be broken too.
Yeah.
We need sunlight for the interwebs to work. So you won't be able to use your card. So stock up on cash too. Make sure you have a bunch of cash to pay for stuff.
Yeah.
How do we get shit done at night?
Right. How does the car work at night? How am I able to go through, sometimes I don't eat until after the show. That's very bad, but sometimes that's true. And I'll go through someplace and at nighttime, my
in
car
the dark with a card.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing. Now, if you've been any of my friends that have been on the phone with me when I've been in one of those locations, you know that my card is wonky, and so it takes a bunch of times for them to scan. You would think that it doesn't, but I promise you, it does work. And it's just so crazy. But when you got all of these people telling us that the end of the world is coming because of this awesome, as a believer, this was an awesome spectacle from the creator. What an amazing event. What an amazing event. Brought on more so by the fact that I chose to spend it with my grandparents. And that's a whole other thing in and of itself. I blame, go back to Ejack's thing. I blame a majority of wanting chaos to erupt in Henry County on Travis Weeks. It didn't work because the Curious Times hardly sell any papers. I went to Kroger and it was fully stocked. Well, absolutely. But look, and I understand that, but it's not just Travis Weeks, man. It's the whole Gannett news apparatus was doing this thing. Gannett News, USA Today, everybody was putting out all of this stuff that it was like, this was going to be like blizzard type shit. They do this when it's going to snow 2 inches. It's like, dude, it's Indiana. We don't know how to survive a weekend storm. Come on. So, I just, and so this is the other part. If you think this event was bad for the state, you ought to hear how, absolutely. Oh no. Yeah, I was here. I paid much attention. And that's the thing that's very concerning, is because it's like, what's going to happen? Are they wanting people to be burnt out? Do they want people to be burnt out so that when something happens and they say, you guys need to prepare, no one does it? Because that's what is going to happen. That's why people get killed in hurricane situations. Because the people like Alva who are in Louisiana and who are, in Fort Myers Beach and whatnot, they hear, year in and year out, oh, this is the big one. And they never leave and they stay and it wasn't bad. Or they do leave. They do make the big trek. And then so finally when they hear, all right, we're going to get hit, they're like, no, I'm tired of doing that. I got things to do this week. I'm not leaving. And then the big one does hit and they drown in their attic, So it's, I don't know. Did Sproles listen? If the rapture occurred yesterday, Sproles would have been at court today and I would not have been there. So, I don't know. Saturday is supposed to be sunny and 70. I'm stocking up on cold beverages and sunscreen. That's the kind of preparation as well. So, listen, I'm not telling people to not be prepped. Quite the opposite. You should be prepped. I'm just telling you, maybe the government should tamp down the boy who cried wolf routine. It's getting very old. My husband built temporary morgues and nothing happened. Listen, I know that there were places during that event that needed those temporary morgues, but it would be nice if Madison County even had one morgue. Your husband's out helping the government build temporary morgues all over the place. It's like Madison County could just build one morgue. That would be, we'll wait till our Thursday episode to talk about that. All right. So now before we move on, I do have to show one last picture of the eclipse. Remember, I showed you this eclipse picture, and I just have to show one last picture that I'm probably going to be killed for. I don't know. We'll see. But this is what will be my memory. Besides the awesomeness of the totality, here's my memory. And this is my amazing grandmother basking in the light of the sun being covered by this thing. It was awesome. We went and got a chair. She was able to sit down and witness this. My grandpa was not so sure. He wanted to watch it from the house. So that's what he did. But she was outside, and it was very awesome. So it was cool. I called my mother and was able to talk to my mother, and my stepfather was able to talk to my aunt and my uncle, and so that was real cool. But able to talk to the family. The only thing I hate, my brother and his wife, I believe were able to watch it. But my other brother, Andrew, they were out of the United States. Now, I think they were off gallivanting like in Iceland and doing like these very cool things there. So they're living their best life without the eclipse. But it was a very, very cool day, specifically family-oriented kind of memories is very cool. All right. So enough of all of that. Grandma eclipse photo was beautiful. Yes, absolutely. Good news. Yes, there was no broken bones in that event. And are you serious? Your phone really did work? Yeah, it did. Can you believe that? Absolutely. Absolutely. Brandon, hey, I'm sorry. I was on the phone. I will call you, Brando. Or call me. I tell you what, because I know that you'll be going to bed. When you're driving into work tomorrow, or if you got time, give me a call. Just you call me the next time you have time, and I will answer the phone to you. I promise. But I like Brandon's post here. Mike Jones said, since I supported the eclipse, it wasn't going to happen. Bilbrey Kiss of Death Tour 2024. That's hilarious. I love it. Okay, so moving on from there, I want to talk a little bit about what occurred today. Of course, we went to the Birch Bay Federal Building in downtown Indianapolis. This beautiful, beautiful building. I mean, the outside, not too beautiful. It just looks like all other federal buildings. But inside this building is a piece of art. Here is one of the old-fashioned type courtrooms. These rooms are just absolutely amazing. Now, regular, just everyday court and hearings are not held in these rooms. I do think that they do still hold big cases in these rooms, but they're not just doing the everyday situation in these rooms. Like, we didn't do our mediation in here. So, yes, it is absolutely true. The Henry County Sheriff, Mr. Sproles, his royal anus, the Duke of Ego, and I did face off mano a mano in the federal court. He was there with his counsel, I was there with my counsel. And then, interestingly enough, they also had to get a representative from the insurance company on the phone. And it's not their current insurance company. It's a representative from Travelers Insurance. So Travelers Insurance is still on the hook for this situation. They're still on the hook for a lot of the lawsuits that currently are facing Sproles. And now to hear it from Sproles, Sproles tells all of the people he can, anyone that listens, we have a day coming up in court. I don't know if he thought that we were going to go into court today and they were going to pick me up by the back of my collar and by the back of my pants and kick me out the door, boot me out, kick me on the butt and boot me out. I was going to bounce out the door or what? But that's not what happened. I showed up with my handy dandy, amazing attorney, and listen, I got to say, as a conservative-minded individual, as a right-leaning libertarian, I am conflicted about the ACLU attorneys for various reasons. That being said, Gavin Rose is the single best attorney that there is going for this kind of work. I talked to him a little bit today, and I picked his brain and got a little biographical information. And I'm amazed that this is the only law that he has ever practiced. Right out of law school, this is the job. This was his dream job that he wanted. And he got it. And he said that the Indiana ACLU is only second to like New York in the amount of cases that they file. They're very active, and the judge seemed to respect Gavin immensely. I have been in court a lot of times on all various sides doing all sorts of different things. As a police officer, as a prosecutor, as an investigator at the prosecutor's office, and doing all sorts of things in court. And I have had interaction with lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of attorneys and lots and lots and lots and lots of judges, of various kinds of judges. And I've had the privilege of interacting with attorneys and judges and watching the interaction. And I can tell you, watching the judge and Mr. Rose, my attorney, interact, I can tell you they both held each other in high esteem. So that's always a good sign. So today's court deal, we get there, and my attorney and I, we were to be there at 1 p.m. And my attorney and I decided to meet at 12:40 and walk in together. And we got there, I got in there, just right about the same time that he did. And we walked in together and we were talking, having a good old time, just doing what we do. And yes. Should have had the new insurance company on the phone so they can hear what they're in for. Absolutely. Now, I think they are aware. I think that they are aware. It doesn't take very long. It just takes a very short period of time talking to Sproles, and you realize what you're in for. And so we get there, and Sproles and his attorney comes in a few minutes after we do. And my attorney introduces himself to Sproles' attorney and to the sheriff. He's like, hello, I'm, the ACLU attorney. I'm Mr. Bilbrey's attorney from the ACLU, Gavin Rose. Hi, hello. And he introduced himself. I introduced myself to the attorney. And I even was polite to the sheriff. And the sheriff was a dick to me. Like, when you do one of those things where you stick your hand out to shake the hand, and then right as they start to shake, you're like, oh, too slow. It was like he did that to me. Now, we didn't shake hands, and I was at my table and he was at his table, but that is what it was like. Listen, Sproles, let me let you in on a little secret. This is politics, buddy. I don't hate you. I don't care about you one way as a person. You're playing the game, I'm playing the game, you're doing it lousy, and it's causing you a bunch of screw-ups, and I'm here to point that all out to you. I see that, Stumblefoot. Thank you. I don't know. I think that might not be a backhanded compliment. I don't know. So, we're doing this thing, and Sproles is just rude right off the bat. He's just rude. I'm like, there's no reason to be an asshole. Blows my mind. Oh yeah, I really, really question Sproles' whole deal with all that. Absolutely. So, Sproles is well-known as a man-child. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I always call him His Royal Anus, not Highness. The Duke of Ego. So we break up and we go into our secret rooms and we talk about this. And this is the confidential part. We're not allowed to disclose this part. I about half believe Sproles might. So it'll be interesting to see what Sproles posts over the next couple days. Needless to say, I can reveal this. A settlement was not reached. We did not reach a settlement. I'm fine with that. Okay. Every judge I've ever been in front of in a situation like this has always said some form of, in a settlement, if you reach a settlement, a good settlement, you know that you've reached a good settlement when everybody gets something they wanted, everybody gives up something that they wanted, and more or less everybody leaves mad. Yes, that's what's interesting, E. He did have on his suit, too small suit. And I will have it noted, and I'm very curious about this, because he was not there on official business for the county. He was not there on official business as a police officer. He was not there to testify in any kind of case, a criminal case. He was not there to enact or work in any capacity as a law enforcement officer. But they did permit him to wear his sidearm into the courtroom, where I will absolutely tell you, I have known other law enforcement officers to go down to court, like investigators, where they will dress up in like a suit and tie, or slacks and a polo or whatever, or dress shirt, and they will have their badge on their belt next to their gun and a magazine and some handcuffs over here. And they have been made to unarm and lock it in the secure place and take the key with them. I, for a fact, have known. I know, Charlize. Here I was. I locked mine in the car, in my little locky safe that's in the car, and had mine locked up. And I was like, that's no fair. I've seen more pictures of him in that Barney Fife. I tell you what, while you say that, because I agree with you, while you do say that, I also have seen him working in a lot of outfits that are not uniform. I've seen him in t-shirts and shorts pulling over vehicles. I have seen him in sweatpants. I have seen him in just very, very, very jurisdiction Bilbrey. Dumbasses signed up for but don't know the law. I seen him in just a towel. I was like, wait a minute, where's that at, Joey? My brother that's 3 years younger than me, he was in flag football. And the day that they went over and they got his pads and his uniform and his helmet, he came home and immediately put everything on. He would put everything on and then just sit around and watch TV. For weeks, he would get up. Like, if we didn't have school on the weekend, he would get up, he'd have his pajamas on, and then he would go over and put his pads on and just sit and watch TV. And then what would happen was he would just sit around like a weirdo. I know Sproles does that exact same thing. He sits around in his uniform. Oh, God, Steve's in Henry County. That's not good. Get out of there quick. Drive the speed limit. If you're watching my show, turn it off if you get pulled over. Throw the phone out of the car. So, oh yeah, Karen, I've definitely, that's interesting. I've got that. There's so much conversation here. I don't even know what's going on. I know. Can you believe that? Absolutely. I'm like dressed up. I'm prepared, normal, very, very, very. I even thought about wearing a button-up shirt, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So anyhow, the case progresses. I'm still suing him. Moving forward, the next thing that happens is, no, we do not have a new court date. What happens from here next is, and this is going to blow everyone's mind. Yeah, right. That's absolutely, yeah, I hear you. Well, I would be doing the same thing. I tell people when I'm in Henry County, I tell people I don't know Christopher Bilbrey. I'm that other Christopher Bilbrey. Yeah, don't you know he spells his no mustard stains? Don't you know he spells his name with a CH? I'm Chris with a K. Oh, I'm Chris with a CH. He spells his name with a K. Don't you know? Yeah, absolutely. Anyways, so when a funny story, my brother moved to Houston, Texas, and my brother's name is Andrew DeFrees, DeFrees. He moved to Texas, and living in Texas, absolutely like 5 to 10 miles from his house, was a guy called, yeah, right, Charlize. I'm the smart Bilbrey. I'm not stupid Bilbrey. I am Facebook friends with a guy online called Chris Bilbrey. He goes by Chris, and it's spelled with a K. His name is Christopher W. Bilbrey. It's not H. It's Christopher W. Bilbrey. And we are friends online, spelled the same way. And he lived like 10 minutes from my brother in Texas. And we found right up here. Here he is, Chris Bilbrey. We found that during that same time, there was a kid that lived out of state that moved to Indiana to go to Ball State University with the name Andrew DeFrees. So at the exact same time that me, Christopher Bilbrey, and my brother, Andrew DeFrees, moved apart from each other from Muncie to Houston, and I lived here and he lived there, there was also a Christopher Bilbrey, same spelling, that lived about 5 miles from him, and there was an Andrew DeFrees that moved about 5 miles from me. What a weird coincidence. What's Grinder? Charlize, you kid too much. Yes, so there is more court. We don't have an exact court date yet. I'm getting ready to blow y'all's mind. The next thing that happens in this case is my attorney will be taking the deposition of the good sheriff, and I will tell you, I'm gonna tell you two things here. I'm gonna tell you one thing that's gonna make you guys mad, and I'm gonna tell you one thing that's gonna blow your mind. Number one, when my attorney deposes the sheriff, I technically can be there and witness it and be a part of it. But I'm not going to be, because my attorney said it's best if I don't. He said I can be there if I want, but he would recommend that I don't do it. And unlike Mr. Sproles, unless I feel that my attorney is driving me off the bus, off the cliff in a bus, which I have had attorneys like that before, I tend to listen to the advice of my attorney. And as long as it makes sense to me, and it's my attorney saying it's for our well-being, I tend to listen to the advice of my attorney. So I know it breaks my heart, and I know it's breaking your all's heart, but I will not be in attendance at the deposition. I will hopefully get a copy of the deposition, and depending on what the attorney says, we probably can't share it until afterwards, but I will be able to go over some generalities of what happened. So I'll keep you guys posted, but I will not be in attendance. From there, however, This is the part that's going to blow your mind. After... aren't I so pretty? You know what? Wait, why are you leaving now? I don't understand what you're saying. Oh, because I'm not going. Yeah, right. Well, I will tell you this. Once I've told you the date, I will now tell you this. My attorney doesn't want me to bust out laughing. Yes, probably. I will tell you, this blew my mind. The judge said today that we are set for trial. Drum roll, please. In March of 2025. So Sproles thinking that this is going to wrap up anytime soon. It's not going to be anytime soon. We are set for trial in March of 2025. Now, the last thing that I can say on this issue is, number one, this is not about money to me. This is not about them paying me off and me saying, okay, you can keep me blocked. No. This is about the principle of I should be unblocked. Diane should be unblocked. Everyone should be unblocked. And I was very adamant about that. A whole year. And let me tell you why. Because after the depositions, we then have a period where both and or one or the other side can request summary judgment. I will tell you, and that's when, like, for example, they will say, we don't want to go on any further. We want summary judgment. And the judge will then make a determination if a summary judgment should appear. And that's where he basically will make a decision without going any further. And I will tell you, just to be serious, basically what happens is this case is ripe for summary judgment. And what that means is they will definitely file for it. But I don't believe that it will occur. And I will just tell you this. Can I get you unblocked from Russ Will's page? Well, unfortunately, no, because, and I don't know if we'll actually fight on this or not, because he is only a party official. He is not an elected official. And so in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of the Supreme Court, he can block anybody he wants. As a party official, he does not have to allow people to be on. Now, I know that he's employed by the weights and measurement, whatever, but he's not an elected official. So that sucks, but it is what it is. Now, I will tell you, I can't say that. I'll talk to you privately. I can tell you some things privately, Catherine, that I heard today that are interesting. That being said, the last thing I'll say about this is I heard some things that make me, it is bad form. Yes. I have always said, if you're in this, nope, and I'm going to fight you to the death on this one too. He is not elected. He is elected, right, by the party. And what that means is it's per party rules. He is not a government official. He is not paid by tax dollars. He is what? Yeah, he's technically caucused, not elected. It would be the same thing as having a Beatles fan club and electing a president and a vice president. He's not paid tax dollars, and that's the big question. If he's paid tax dollars for the role, then it's like it becomes questionable. He is an official POS, absolutely. That's the big fight that I had with the chick from Jill or whatever when I was talking to JD Prescott, and she turns around and talks to me. And I'm like, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the elected official. And she's like, I am an elected official. And I'm like, no, you're not. You're appointed by the party. You dictate party rules. If you don't want to let me in your treehouse, okay, but you're not paid by the citizens, wench. So, okay. Well, sorry, I got interrupted. The last thing I want to say about the Sproles situation is I truly believe that we are in a better place today. I feel invigorated with this case, and I feel that we might do some very, very good with this. We might do some very good with this. So hang tight with us. It might take us a whole year, but I think it's going to be worth it. It's going to be interesting. All right. Now, moving on lastly to the deal with the Muncie Post-Democrat. In Muncie, as in Anderson or Winchester or Newcastle, we have these little rag newspapers. The Star Press, the Herald Bulletin, the Winchester News Gazette, the Courier Times. And it's really funny how in all of these areas we have like these little pet names for these things. Like the I don't know what they call the Courier. I forget what they call the Courier. But like the Winchester News Gazette is the News Regret. You know, they've got all these names for these little newspapers. And a lot of people say like, oh, perception is reality, or the political spotlight, or the Bastards of Politics, that's news. While we do break news and we do cover news-related blah, 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 I do not consider this news. All right? It's political commentary and commentary on what's going on around us. Okay. I'm interested in this Muncie Post-Democrat. I know that they will post things from time to time with a liberal slant. I understand that. As long as you know that going into it, you can know how to better read and deal with this. That being said, this is an amazing article. Okay. So if you want to find the Muncie Post-Democrat, and again, what's really cool about the Muncie Post-Democrat is the fact that here's a copy of the only Democratic newspaper in Delaware County. This is back during a time when there were like 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 10 different newspapers in Muncie and Delaware County, which just is an amazing time, you know, from the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and into like the very early 90s. Muncie had newspapers. It had the Morning Star and the Evening Press, and the Morning Star and the Evening Press combined to become the Muncie Star Press. All right. So this was the Muncie Post-Democrat. You can see here, skull and crossbones adorns letter sent to publisher by anonymous writer. Ooh, okay. This guy was a mover and a shaker. This George R. Dale. He was an interesting character. He was the former mayor of Muncie. As I said, he was the 18th mayor. He was a Democrat. He took on bootleggers and he took on the Ku Klux Klan in 1932. This was actually before he was elected mayor. In 1932, he was convicted of violating the prohibition laws. I'm like, wait a minute. You were fighting the bootleggers, but you were convicted of violating the prohibition laws? His conviction was upheld on appeal, which is bizarre and kind of cool. But listen to this. This is freaking awesome. He was pardoned in 1933 by the President of the United States of America. That is badass. President Franklin D. Roosevelt pardoned this dude when prohibition was repealed. Just absolutely wild. Dale was born in Monticello, Indiana. His father, William D. Dale, was a Union captain in Company K of the 19th Indiana Regiment during the U.S. Civil War, and his grandfather, William Dale, settled in Monticello after migrating from Virginia. His mother was Ophelia Reynolds, also of Monticello area. Both parents were deceased before his 18th birthday. His father in 1886 and mother in 1887. Growing up in rural Indiana, he attended local public schools. He married his wife, Leanna Moeller, in Hartford City on January 14th, 1900. They had 7 children: Mary O., Elizabeth, George R., Bud Jr., Martha Ellen, Virginia Ruth, Daniel D., and John Dale. Dale died in Muncie, Indiana. He was the publisher of the Hartford City Press, the Hartford City Journal, the Muncie Post, and the Muncie Post-Democrat. His political career, like much of his life, although brief, was full of controversy. He publicly continued his attacks on both the current corrupt officials in Muncie and Delaware County, which is cool, the Ku Klux Klan. He was inaugurated on January 6, 1930, and served just 1 term. He is well known for his house cleaning of the Muncie government, which he removed most of the local government and replaced the entire police department and the entire fire departments within days of his inauguration. He came in and cleaned house out. Gone are all of the police and all of the firemen, which in Muncie's history, the corruption in Muncie politics have always started at the police department and at the fire departments. The police department has always leaned to be conservative Republican, and the fire department has always leaned to be liberal Democrat. And they have always been the basis of a lot of corruption within city and county government. And George Dale went in and replaced these people. Now, also of note, his great grandson is Andrew Dale. Andrew Dale is the gentleman, he ran for mayor back in 2019 against Dan Ridenour. He was Jeff Robinson's campaign manager. He's currently on the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. And he's around now. It's the great grandchild that is now taking on the mantle of the new Muncie Post-Democrat, which is kind of, like I said, a stripped down version. It's a blog style article. This article is very interesting, and I would highly recommend people in the Muncie, Delaware County area check out the Muncie Post-Democrat. You can visit it by going to the munciepostdemocrat.com. This is a very interesting article. Dirty partisans, okay? As citizens, we have little to no access to what is going on in local government. I agree. Every detail that we can be provided is designed to obfuscate the meaning and push us out of the process altogether. So now we're stuck to only trusting a small social club of people who just barely understand it either. All right. That's very true. There's a lot of people out here in the world that's like, I don't understand everything that's going on. They make it so damn hard. And the people who are actually in the seats don't understand it. That's very true. For any issue that is of widespread concern, the Middletown Property Group, what they were doing in 2022, how the city handled the Muncie Inn, Whale Sustainable Product, Michael's Place, any number of those projects that were like, what's going on? The Southway Plaza project, what is going on with that? Still nothing. It gets met with excuses that the city has no ability to act on it, at which point you're supposed to feel halted from even asking what they can do for you, because you can't make demands if you don't know those hazy ins and outs, which are never explained to you in the first place. In our city government, it's either pure incompetency, that's on one hand, or blatant corruption. Now, I will take it a step further and say there's also soft corruption, and we see that in a lot of ways too. We see soft corruption. And keep in mind, corruption does not always mean someone is doing something illegal. They love to hang their hat on that. Oh, you're accusing us of doing... No. I'm not accusing you of doing illegal acts. I'm accusing you of being corrupt. There is a difference. Okay? If you're a politician and you're funneling money somewhere, that's corruption. If you're a politician and you're just helping your buddy out, that's corruption. It might not be illegal, but you're helping your buddy out. If you're a politician and you murder someone, that's not corruption. So you can do illegal things that are not corrupt, and you can do corrupt things that are not illegal. They do not have, that's just common sense. None of us want to make the worst accusation and have it turn out to just be the result of mere ignorance. And I can understand the Muncie Post-Democrat saying that. I've got no problem calling these people out. Incompetency is the perfect excuse for that outcome, and most sane people would rather turn the other cheek and say bless their heart than confront stupidity head on. And I agree. A lot of people just say, I don't want to be involved with this. Last week, a fiasco with the recording of April's city council meeting. We had that fiasco. Meetings are live streamed to Facebook, broadcasted through Comcast, and available after the fact. They're available live streamed, but they're also available after the fact. But due to several errors, the video was nowhere to be found. Early in the meeting, the City of Muncie Facebook page wrote, due to a non-city issue with our Comcast connection, tonight's city council meeting will be posted following the meeting. We apologize for the delay. Later that night, the same post was deleted, and the recording was never live streamed, broadcasted, or subsequently posted online as they said. Now, I've got to be honest. I did not see that post. I did not see the City of Muncie post due to a non-city issue with our Comcast connection. Tonight's council meeting will be posted following the meeting. We apologize for the delay. I did not see that. But if it truly, in fact, went up and then it was in fact deleted, that is a problem. That is a no-no, and that should not be happening. Okay, that's crazy if that in fact has happened. I'm trying to get the understanding of what's going on there. I'm going to be ferreting that out here soon. For 2 days, we were all asking when we'll see it. You should know that some of us worked during those meetings. And finally, the page told us that the video just wasn't recorded. The post was met with over 150 comments, including one impassioned resident, we talked about this last week, who cited Senate Bill 1167 that requires city council meetings to be live streamed and archived. And we talked last week, that is true, but it doesn't go in effect until next year. So they are safe on that way, but at least it gets them thinking, okay? And shortly thereafter, the page acted swiftly and posted the Dropbox link to another audio source from the council secretary's laptop. Less convenient for those who wanted to watch in real time, but we voiced our angst and they acted when a consequence was probable. That's interesting. That's interesting that they do things like that. It shows how reactive they are. All this does is point out how reactive this government is. They never get ahead of something right out. It blows me away that they're still doing that. They have not learned. The cover-up is always worse than the crime. We had one attainable objective, not the most important one in the scheme of things, but the public got a bit of transparency for once. Otherwise, we would have had to wait another month for a single page worth of minutes. And I will say, I believe that the minutes are a little bit more than that, but the point is, how often does this success really happen, do you ask? Well, it can be next to impossible with this current administration. Even with the kind of messages we've heard before from previous mayors about efficiency and professionalism, which ends up translating into privatization and favoring business interests, they at least did things legally and could dress it nicely. I can have some disagreements with that. You can't really say that when you're looking at the last administration, which, a lot of were questioned and ended up going to federal prison. Okay, that was an issue. The Ridenour administration has used transparency as a selling point, and we can't go back as their slogan. Yet Ridenour's ghouls, which I love, the Dan fans, the Dan addicts, Ridenour's ghouls can barely hide their true colors anymore. Ridenour, in his estimation, doesn't feel the need to even acknowledge something like the Ratchford deal. Hell, a lot of you don't even know what that is. Or the Southway Plaza, or the Michaels situation, or the Solar Field situation, or all of these things that he jams through and then later will not talk about. The situation going on up at the Sportsplex. When's the last time we've been hearing anything about going on there? What's going on there? Is this another thing that we talked about and some money traded hands and now nothing? What's going on? Okay. Store Estates. This is spot on. He feels as if he does not have to even acknowledge those things, let alone make up even a half believable story. He doesn't have to be at contentious meetings to face the public, or if he does go to those meetings, he says his part and then he leaves. He doesn't feel that he needs to provide details to the said public or even help the council to understand. He will come before the council and he will ask for A, B, and C. And the council will say, yes, we want to do this. We just need more information. And the mayor's answer always is yes. Yes, what? Yes, nothing. Just yes. Do it. That's what I expect. The most major development happening recently is the new firehouse, first formally introduced to be voted on in October of last year at the last meeting before the city election, which was a campaign stunt. Ridenour's purpose in doing this was highly political, and despite him and other Republicans accusing Democrats of playing dirty politics, they never explained why this all of a sudden had to be introduced at the last minute. And I've brought that up to the council multiple times. It's not like we're going to say yes to this and the firemen are going to have that new house tomorrow and move in it. If we vote on this right now, it's still going to take months and months. So why not push this off another month, get the right details, and then vote? It's not going to hurt anything in the grand scheme of things. I'm not saying push this off another 5 years. I'm saying push it off a month until we know what's going on. But they didn't want to do that. All right. Why did this have to be introduced at the last minute? Screw you. We don't have to tell you. For the council and the public that's concerned about this process, it's about avoiding potential grafting, debt to the city of Muncie, and incompetency leading to construction delays, and letting the public know about the transaction documents were being referred to in the first place. A month-long delay for council to get the answers is nothing compared to the amount of time it will take construction from happening. But frankly, I for one am at a point where I just want this to be done with. Republicans are at fault for delaying the process because they wouldn't let the public look critically at how this is being done. Yes, I agree. I know I'm a conservative. I know I'm over on this side. I've got no problem at calling out these ignorant Republicans and the mayor for causing this delay. All because they wouldn't let us, the public, the council, look critically at how this is being done. And if making Muncie into Ridenour's real estate hellscape is in exchange for a desperately needed fire station, then fuck it. But this doesn't change the fact that they brought this out during a contentious election just to campaign on it. That Dale Basham lied and changed his story multiple times about the resolution, and we'll get back to that in a moment. Put a pin in that. Dale Basham, Counselor Dale Basham, lied and changed his story multiple times about the resolution and the fact that this administration has denied requests by council members, by the public, by people in the media. This administration has denied those requests to talk at length about the build, operate, transfer process. Why? If it's so great, why are we not sitting down and discussing it? Why do they get so hairy about this? What they have done and will continue to do is make us exhaust all resources to get answers, only to get nothing in return. The publisher here says, in the experience of doing a FOIA request, or on the state APRA, access to public record request, they have slowed down the process for weeks or months before outright rejecting requests by the end of that time frame. I agree wholeheartedly. The process in which public records should be requested and handed over should not be a process that drags on and on and on and on. I still have outstanding requests from forever ago. They do this. Hell, sometimes they don't even deny it. They just let it pinned and hope that you'll just forget. I don't ever forget. In the Post-Democrats' attempt to provide local journalism in some capacity, the reporter here called City Hall about an interview with Ridenour. All right, that makes sense. It's no secret that mayors are busy, and I clearly wasn't expecting him to drop everything and give me an interview like right then. So I asked for 15 minutes max. That's all this person was asking for. 15 minutes. Somewhere down the line, a few months from now. Ridenour's assistant, the gatekeeper, Shireen Wegley, first said he was busy for another 2 weeks. And when the reporter checked again about doing an interview afterwards, or even months later, she said, and this is, I quote this article, Wegley said he'll never accept an interview. Why? When did this happen? I want to know when this happened. When did Shireen Wegley tell the reporter here that he was busy for 2 weeks, and then at the end of those 2 weeks say, well, he'll never accept an interview? The article goes on. Now, we're a partisan paper with the word Democrat right in the name, yes. But what local news do we have here besides the Post-Democrat? And I agree. The Star Press is nothing. All right. We move on. Raise hell, praise Dale. Now, there are 1,000 complaints people have had with Wegley. Being short on the phone is one. So much for business class efficiency. But she takes on a bigger role in the Muncie Redevelopment Commission. At the last Muncie Redevelopment Commission meeting, Andrew Dale, who, in just all transparency, is the father of this reporter, Andrew Dale brought up concerns with the minutes of the meeting prior. There were several concerns that Andrew had. Remember, we watched this. We talked about this. And that included fixing the public comments that were cut out. Charlize was one of those people. But for two Republicans on that board, Wegley and Isaac Miller, adding relevant information to the minutes is something they despise when it comes from a Democrat. There would have been nothing consequential for them to vote in favor of, and the amends. There would have been nothing consequential for them to vote in favor of the amends, and yet they went on record voting against transparency. I want you guys to think about that for a moment. Ridenour's administration, as we all know, have time and time and time again came out against accountability, communication, transparency, the whole 9 yards. But in this case, they actually went on record against transparency. We watched it with our own eyes. Why? Keep in mind, go back to what they're doing in Delaware County, where Sherry Riggin is saying, we need to go back to the old minutes where we don't record anything. No. The old minutes recorded everything. The city of Muncie's minutes record things. This is an MRC meeting. Meeting is very important. I would very much tell you that in order of importance is the Muncie City Council meeting, then the Muncie Board of Works, and then the Redevelopment Commission meeting. Those are the three meetings that deal with money and the business of the city in a very important way. And the fact that there are minutes that they have just left parts out of is absolutely insane when it's easy to just add those minutes in. Dale had already prepared them. But they went on record voting against transparency. That's the Ridenour administration, folks. No matter how you spin this, Ridenour's appointees voted against transparency. The papers covered the MRC in a couple different articles. You can see it here. So definitely be on the lookout for more developments. In short, if you want to know the dynamics of that commission, Dale was one of 2 Democrats appointed in 2024. The rest of the appointments are Ridenour's administration cronies. Believe me, the author says, I mean this in the most loving way possible. But Dale's uncompromising and toxic nature, I knew I was going to flub it. Nature is the best defense against Ridenour.
Quixotic.
Say it again.
Quixotic.
Yeah. Quixotic. I knew I was going to fumble it. Nature is the best defense against Ridenour, and I agree. Look, I don't agree with everything that Andrew Dale does or says. I'm not saying that. But Andrew Dale is a good foil to Ridenour in a lot of his crap where he's pushing shit through. So much so that the actual newspaper in Muncie quit taking letters to the editor from Andrew Dale. Now, why would that happen? Why would the actual quote-unquote newspaper in Muncie quit taking letters to the editor from someone? They weren't rude. They weren't nasty. They weren't vulgar. They just spoke out against his bullshit. And the newspaper's like, no more. Nuts. But because Robinson is gone from the council, Dale is now the only person in the government mix there to push. We'll yet to see what the council will do. The council's still trying to get its sea legs. I don't know how long it's going to take them to get their act together. We didn't even get to see him in this last meeting. Why didn't one of those council members pull out their phone and start live streaming? Those councils are just as to blame as everybody else there. Why did one of those council members not pull out their phone? Shame on all 9 of those council members. All 9 of them should have done it. Dale is the best defense against Ridenour, who more than once has come close to admitting that Dale is a hellraiser, keeping him up at night. Oh, I think there are a lot of us that keep Dan up at night. That former shell of a credit score coach, I love that line, continues to have his sanity dwindled down until he's trapped in his own flat of angles, void of any close allies, and staring into mirrors of his inevitable existential folly. And I think I agree. All right, moving on here. Owen and the PR disaster. And then there's a copy of a Facebook post. And this is City of Muncie. And they're commenting to Cameron Grubbs. And it says, Cameron Grubbs, you might want to check your facts. And then there's an edit. We believe this comment was made in error on the official account and does not reflect the tone with which we respond to citizens. Please note the most recent response for more information. Okay, this is interesting. Michelle Owen, who unironically started a TED Talk with the phrase, we live in a society, runs the City of Muncie's Facebook page. Partially. The page has been used to help Ridenour's re-election campaign in a very, very questionable manner, repeating misinformation that could land Muncie into lawsuits, and hardly serving its original purpose to provide answers to the public. However, there are others who also have access to it, like Shireen Wegley, who couldn't help but log in to write, "You might want to check your facts," to a citizen. That also raises the question about whether Dan himself, who can sometimes be seen frantically pacing back and forth in the live stream room where they record the meetings, if he's also commenting. As the page is currently run, it paves the way for any future administration to give biased information, let alone how scary it is to think what an extremist administration might decide to use the social media account for. As for Michelle Owen, the author of this article says, "I will 100% hold my sympathy for her, because even if she is just an innocent Ball State grad who is stuck in the middle of Ridenour's lies, she absolutely sucks at protecting the brand. I'm sure she's pulling her hair out over the PR disaster created by the dirty partisans, but she is also complicit in her complicit in their political interests. But while I was curious about it for a while, there was no way of getting to the solid truth out of them. After having all of the FOIAs requested rejected, interviewing Michelle Owen in person and mind-numbingly scrolling through comment after comment, this project became pointless. And besides, not only do they look like jackasses already, but some of Dan's ghouls are commenting between 9 and 5 during what we would assume would be the working hours for their job. We can't provide any catch-all solution to this other than collectively make those loud demands or getting the right behind-the-scenes appointments, because these problems are really just scratching the surface. The larger problem here is that if we were being slowed down because city employees can get away with mistakes that limit public knowledge, said employees and elected officials can openly insult your intelligence, and we have a stubborn mayor who will compromise transparency for his farcical ambitions, how can we ever make the kinds of municipal demands that we used to make here in Muncie? Above all, for the sake of utilizing public goods that we should very well be accustomed to, we should gain access to the city that is ours. And I think this is very well put together. I made a post as a conservative political commentator that has lived and breathed the daily fight for improved communication, more transparency, and better accountability with this Ridenour administration since day one. I just want to say spot on. This is very well put together article. I absolutely agree with this. Someone actually wrote a story from the comment section of the city's Facebook page. Is AI writing this because it's full of truth? I tell you, no. It's the author of this is Daisy Dale, and I absolutely hope they continue writing. Now, I said I wanted to go back before we're getting ready to roll. I know we've been here for a long time. Stand with me. This is a lot of Muncie news. It's very important. I put a pin in the fact that Daisy mentioned something very important up here at the top. And I want to go back to this just real briefly. Where Daisy said, but this doesn't change the fact that they brought this out during the contentious election just to campaign on it. And that Dale Basham lied and changed his story multiple times about the resolution. And I tell you what, for the life of me, I did not know what Daisy was talking about. I could not think, well, I just didn't know. So I clicked on the green little tab, Isn't Technology Beautiful? And it took me to this. Dale Basham lies about the BOT document. Post-Democrat will pay $50 if he can provide a copy. Now, This was published. I don't know when this was published. I guess it looks like this might have been, I don't know if it, 2 days. So this was published in February. Now, I'm going to have to get a hold of Daisy and ask what the deal is here, where we are with $5 or $50, because I'm going to take this ball and run with it. Because after I read this drove me crazy. So here is Mr. Fancy Dress himself. All right. The best damn dressed councilman that we have going. Councilmember Dale Basham had to go back on his words Monday night on whether a feasibility study included details on the bot agreement for Resolution 1723. He is now claiming that Mayor Ridenour gave him a separate document. When, why, and how? And why is he getting more information that the other 8 counselors are not getting? When is he getting this? Under what conditions is he getting this? Is this what we want in government, folks? We want one council member to be privy to what the mayor's doing? I think not. All right. If all 8 of them can't be privy, I don't want any of them to be privy. I want all of them to be in the doghouse. Dale Basham shouldn't get a special favor because he promised to be the mayor's voice and vote. That's a bunch of horseshit. Resolution 1723, which was amended and passed last month's meeting, starts the process of financing an $8.5 million fire station to replace Fire Station 6. Several members of the council between October and January, mostly Democrats, felt that there were not enough details available to the public or to them. Basham, a Republican, in last month's meeting claimed that Democratic members shouldn't complain about a lack of information on Resolution 1723 because a 340-page study contains the details. Well, Councilor Nora Powell, however, didn't think the study explained how the BOT agreement would take place. And I agree with Nora. You're not going to hear that a lot, but I do. I agree with her here. I told you back then I agreed with her, and I like that someone besides myself was putting this information out. We talked about this 2 months ago. I just didn't remember when I read this in the article, I didn't remember what they were talking about, but I like that other people are catching this too. Powell said that Basham read something that's the study just saying what we all agree. We all agree that we need those fire stations. That's what the study said. The study had no bearing on how we were going to fund those things. That is a very interesting discrepancy. Agreeing that we need the fire stations is one thing. Agreeing that we need the fire stations and saying, all right, let's go ahead and do it no matter what the cost. Cost be damned. No, that is not a good city councilor. And we should run those people out. And if this is Dale Basham, we should run him out of office. Then last night's meeting, during the public comment, Wayne Scaife told Basham that he lied about this. Now, keep in mind, this was before we heard Wayne in the April meeting. All right, so we're gonna have to find out what's what here, because Wayne Scaife is now saying, I want this thing. But before he was saying that, he said that Basham lied about the study having to do with details on the bot process, at which point Basham said, I'm not claiming it was in the study itself, but in a separate document tucked into the document. What do you mean? So Ridenour gave you this booklet that was like bound and collated and all put together and nice. It looked like it was ready for sale. And there was just a tucked in piece of paper in there. Do you expect me to believe that? Later in the meeting, Councilmember Brandon Garrett asked Basham directly if he could show him the document. At which point Basham referred to it as an ordinance. Sarah Gullion told Basham the ordinance, really it's a resolution, was different from any additional document related to the BOT agreement information that she was requesting. Democrats Jerry Dishman and Billy McIntosh both told the Post-Democrat that they did not know about the document, although Republican Rose Selvey also told this editor that she can email the said document as did Basham. All right, so this is important, folks. We've got Dale Basham and Rose Selvey saying they can give this document up. All right. And the author says, as of noon today, we've not received a response from either. Republican Jeff Green also told the author that he has not seen the document. So that's a Republican saying, I've not seen what Basham's talking about. Many individuals at the public comment last night repeated the same sentiment, that not enough information was generally being brought to the public, whether on the firehouse resolution or otherwise. One resident, Russell Irving, said he felt that his neighborhood was being left in the dark for not informing nearby residents about the 4 traffic circles being constructed close to their homes. Absolutely. Resolution 1723 has been a contested issue for several reasons, such as details not being provided to the general public, the use of a bot agreement, lack of a guarantee of local labor, and by some council members, it's an estimated $8.5 million budget. Although while last year's President Jeff Robinson brought up concerns over the budget, Dishman is fine with the cost. And I don't understand where Jerry Dishman is at with this. Jerry Dishman has been a disappointment when it comes to this. He is letting his need to fight for the firemen and for the good working people cloud his judgment in being a good steward of tax dollars. He can do exactly what he wants to do for $4 million. He doesn't need to do it for $9 million. We at the Post-Democrat would like to offer $50 to anyone who can provide said document for us to post online. If the said document is verified to be part of Basham's holiday read, then you can guarantee that me, myself, and I will gladly pay you the amount through Venmo. All right. And this is what the Muncie Democrat said. Okay. Now I want to let you guys hear this real quick.
First thing I want to say is I appreciate Mr. Mason, Ms. Selvey, Mr. McIntosh, and Mr. Green for your vote. I appreciate that. I just wanted to clear up something from the last meeting when I spoke, and and it's about that bot agreement. I didn't want anybody to think that I was against it. So I'm not against the bot agreement. I just don't understand it. Like everybody else has spoke out against it. I don't understand it. And as far as I remember, in the December meeting, there was only one person they said they was against it, and that was Mr. Overby. Everybody else just said they didn't understand it, and that's all we was trying to get was clarification. And in that meeting, former Councilman Clark, who was on the Public Works Committee, he made a motion to untable it and send it back to the council. Well, he's the one that didn't appear at the Public Works Committee to answer questions. There were a lot of unanswered questions. Yep. Even the guy that was the contractor was there. Yep. He couldn't answer questions.
Yep.
So that's what I was saying. I can speak for anybody else. There was a lot of unanswered questions in the Public Works Committee, but we never had our second meeting. And the councilman who was on that meeting that didn't appear to answer questions, he gets upset because no one called me and asked questions. Well, he should have been at the meeting to answer those questions. And like somebody spoke out and said, I don't want to have a private conversation over the phone. I want to be on the record. Well, I understand that. I don't blame him. But I just want you to make sure y'all understand I'm not against it. We just don't understand it. And one thing I wanted to clear up was Councilman Basham, the paper, your holiday reading material you put up, that was a feasibility study. You made it seem like it explained the bot process, and it didn't. So that was misleading.
No, I had the bot agreement tucked into that reading over the holidays. Okay. There were 340 pages plus that bot
agreement. And that explains exactly the bot agreement.
It did
okay,
yes,
because the feasibility study
to my satisfaction.
Okay, well, there was a lot of people that said they didn't understand it, and I think that's where it should remain. Let's get this thing done, whether we were for it or against it. Let's get it done and move on past this. But we need to have better clarification. And the last thing I want to say, I think it's a disservice to the city that the last 4 or 5 meetings that the mayor didn't come and try to explain it to the council. But the first council this year, he comes and gives his input. I think that was a disservice. It should have been done long ago. Like Ms. Selvey said, let's get it done. Let's move past it. But I just want y'all to know I'm not against it. I just don't understand.
All right. And then now we move on. That was well said. And I question Basham. Basham, put it forward. I will have you know that Basham, still to this date, it is the 9th of April. He's been in office since January 1st. He has never responded to a text message. He has never responded to a Facebook message. He has never responded to an email. And I got to tell you, I don't know what this guy is thinking, but oh boy, you're going to force me. We're going to have a face-to-face talk. And I figured that an email would be better or a text would be better. But if you want me to call you out in every meeting from now until you resign or until we beat your ass in 4 years, we'll do that. But I think you not responding after the 4th month to questions and comments and concerns, that is a serious issue. All right, now we're going to play this last thing before we wrap up.
I have one thing. I will do what I'll be at the meeting with you, Mr. Mason, and figure out what we can do to help to get it done. We need to make sure that we are here for everybody and everything that they need. That's why we're up here. That's why you put us up here. If you ask for answers, we need to find you answers, and we need to make sure that we tell you the answers that you don't like and that you do like. It is 100% to be truthful and transparent with you. So I applaud you for getting that meeting set up. That shows initiative for you. I appreciate that and the initiative that you have for the city. So I thank you for that. And then I was on vacation the last time. Some things may have happened with the Zoom meeting. I couldn't get in, but I was on the last council with the bot. I am still not I'm not against it either. Could you send me what you sent out in your letter just so I could have all together?
I didn't have a letter. I went to the mayor's office and asked him if he had a copy of the bot agreement. He printed me one. Cool. I think you got one. I think Sarah, we were all together at that lunch, remember?
Yeah, but
we had that bot agreement.
There's no agreement yet. No.
I know that bot language was there.
The ordinance.
Yeah.
The ordinance.
And we asked questions about it, and then I got more information.
But the ordinance is different from the
agreements. Right.
No, I didn't have any additional. I asked for additional, but
I
asked for a printed copy and I got it.
Okay. I just wanted to.
I think that's a problem. I think right there, we just heard they were all at a thing. They were asking for more information. They couldn't get it. But Dale asked for one. Andrew Dale asked for one, and he got it. Now, why is that?
I want to read it. Take it to my neighborhood associations and everybody, just to be open, transparent with everybody. So I just want to apologize.
So was that Brandon asking Dale for a copy, and was that Dale telling him no, essentially? I mean, he didn't say no, but he was like, well, I got it from the city. So, you know, these are supposed to be fellow council members. Yeah, buddy, I'll make you a copy tomorrow and get it to you. I'll send that right over. Be looking for it. I'll go home tonight and I'll snap a picture of it on my cell phone and send it over to you right now. Dale had that copy. Dale had the big book that he lifted up and he put in everybody's face right there. So you mean to tell me he's got all that paperwork, but he didn't bring that agreement with him tonight? I don't buy that for a minute.
I've never missed a meeting. I wasn't here last meeting. Some difficulties, so I just I want to apologize to you guys for that. So that's all I've got.
So, and at least Brandon did apologize for that meeting. I think that was good of him. So, just very interesting, folks. You got to take this stuff. It's very very interesting what we're seeing play out here. And I tell you, I know I've been looking into what's going on with the county government, and I know that we've been dealing with Henry County and Madison County, but my eyes are not taken off the city. I'm still there, and it's getting ready to get very uncomfortable for some people in city government, because I'm going to now be sticking my foot up their ass until we get the answers to this, and we'll see what goes on. But I very much appreciate Daisy and this Muncie Post-Democrat. I don't know exactly how frequent the information is published on here. I mean, you can see it's a pretty small. Oh, look at this! Hey, we're even add-on. Look at that. We're right here. Local journalism. That's funky. Let's click on that and see what that does. Well, hell, looky here. It brings us right to the political spotlight. What do you think about that? I didn't even know that. That's nuts. Well, you learn something new. So, yeah, give these people some love. Apparently, they also have a Facebook page, which I just found out. I didn't know that. So we'll go to the Muncie Post-Democrat. And we'll see if we can find, we'll just type in Muncie Post-Democrat. See if that pops up anything. Well, we'll find it on my own time. But go to the Muncie Post-Democrat and see if you can find their information. If you can go and give them some love, do that, and see what comes up. I think it's very interesting. These last couple articles were extremely interesting, so definitely check that out and go from there. That's going to do it for us this evening. I know it's been a little bit of a long one, but we've had a lot of information to cover. So I want to thank you all for being here. I mean, this shut up. Okay, there we go. Okay, I want to thank you guys all for being here and taking a trip down this post-mortem with us, looking into everything that's been going on and giving a little bit further examination. Thank you all very much. Please, please, please do us the favor. It doesn't take you any time. All you need to do is go on to Facebook and do these things over here. YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell. Most of you have been commenting. Share the show with everyone you know. It's very, very, very easy. We all thank you. Thank you to Lenny for becoming a member this evening. We will be back tomorrow. That's Wednesday. I don't really know what we've got on tap for tomorrow. Thursday night, the doctor will be here. It'll be an interesting show. And we'll go for there. You guys have a great rest of your evening. Wind down. Have a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And we will see you back here tomorrow at the exact same time at 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, you guys take care. Good night. God bless. Have a great day. Goodbye.
Photo reminds me of like from like some kind of sci-fi movie, like maybe Dune or something.
It's like Dune. Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's like Dune, or the very beginning of Star Wars, like when they're going onto that planet or whatever, Tatooine or whatever. I knew Tatooine. Shut up.